Awaken your spirit, chosen ones. Kneel not because you are weak, but because we have made you realize that without us, you are nothing. The corridors of hell now echo with a silence so profound, it drowns out the screams that once filled its fiery depths. The demons, the ancient terrors we once feared, are no longer plotting their malevolent chaos. Instead, they are kneeling. Why? Because you, the chosen ones, did not merely defeat hell's armies. You humiliated them. And here's the kicker. The demons didn't lose in a fiery battle. They lost to something they could never comprehend. An unbreakable willpower from beings they considered beneath them. In many mythologies, demons thrive on human fear. Yet what happens when that fear is replaced by something so defiant, so profound, that it shakes the very gates of hell? Well, the devil experiences an identity crisis, and the demons, once rulers of torment, find themselves lined up for a group therapy session. Hell isn't out of fire, it's out of fighters, and that's all because of you. At number 1, hell's hierarchy has crumbled. For centuries, hell's hierarchy was more than just feared, it was untouchable. It was an ironclad system, a rigid and unforgiving structure of power. Demons ruled from the top, and humans trembled below, cowering in submission. That was the unspoken law of the universe, the way things had always been. But then, the chosen ones arrived and tore that law to shreds. You didn't merely challenge hell, you dismantled it. The rulers of torment who once stood unopposed, proud in their reign, were forced to their knees. This wasn't just about defeating demons in battle. It was about exposing the vulnerability they had so carefully hidden behind the veil of fear. Their power wasn't absolute. It was borrowed, taken from the despair and submission of those they tormented. When that fear was ripped away, their throne crumbled. The chosen ones didn't just fight back. They flipped the entire system on its head. No longer was there a terrifying king of chaos ruling from a dark throne. The demons who once enforced the rules of suffering were scattered, their unity shattered, and they now kneel, not out of loyalty, but because they have no choice. Their pride, their purpose, and their place in the grand hierarchy have been stripped away. The very system they worshipped for eons has collapsed under the weight of mortal defiance. For the first time, hell itself is leaderless, its identity ruined. The demons are not planning revenge. They are lost, broken, and humiliated. The once unshakable fortress of terror has become a wasteland, and the architects of this nightmare bow to the very ones they sought to crush. Hell isn't just out of demons, it's out of power. And the chosen ones didn't just win, they ensured hell would never rise the same way again. Number 2, you weaponized what demons feared most. The demons were never afraid of swords or holy water. For centuries, they had faced warriors, priests, and prophets, each time finding a way to crawl back into power. What they never expected, what they could never prepare for, was being undone by the one thing they never fully understood, the intangible. You didn't win this battle with brute force or grand miracles. You used weapons they couldn't see coming. Unwavering purpose, relentless hope, and an unshakable will. These were your weapons, and they were more powerful than any sword. Demons thrive on chaos, feeding off fear and despair. They manipulate weaknesses, twisting emotions until even the strongest crumble beneath the weight of their influence. But you gave them something they could not corrupt: defiance. Your defiance wasn't loud or flashy. It was relentless, like a quiet storm that wore them down over time. Every time they tried to break you, you stood taller, more unyielding. They couldn't counter that. Their playbook was built on exploitation, yet you refused to play their game. And it wasn't just what you wielded, it was how you used it. Demons expected resistance, but they didn't expect strategy. They didn't expect you to turn their tactics against them. They relied on fear to break you, but you gave them none. They counted on your doubt, but you responded with unshakable confidence. Every move they made was met with resilience they couldn't crush, faith they couldn't shake, and resolve that wouldn't bend. You didn't just fight demons. You forced them to confront the one truth they feared most. Their power was never real. It was stolen, and when you took it back, they were left with nothing. That's why they kneel now, not because they were defeated, but because you showed them they were powerless all along. Number 3, they never saw you coming. Hell didn't prepare for you. They had plans for saints, warriors, and prophets, chosen ones of prophecy, cloaked in righteousness and wielding divine power. That's who they were ready for. What they got, however, was something entirely different. You weren't what they expected, and that's what made you unstoppable. They underestimated you because you didn't fit their preconceived idea of a threat. You weren't perfect, pure, or predictable. You were flawed, messy, and human in ways they never thought could matter. But it wasn't your weaknesses that doomed them, it was how you turned those very flaws into strengths. The doubts they tried to exploit, you used to question their reality. Where they saw imperfections, you saw opportunities for growth. Where they saw vulnerability, you saw the heart of your strength. The demons didn't understand that your humanity was not a weakness. It was your greatest power. In your imperfection, you found resilience. In your struggles, you found strength. And as you grew, you forced the demons to face the terrifying truth. It wasn't your flaws that made you vulnerable. It was their complete misunderstanding of you that led to their downfall. You didn't need divine power or immaculate purity to defeat them. You simply needed to embrace your humanity, your flaws, and your will to rise above it all. And that, in the end, was what made you unstoppable. Authority. They tried to feed on your fears, believing that they could break you, but in facing them, you stripped away the very power they held. Their tactics, carefully crafted to tear you apart, were shattered the moment you stood firm. They were blindsided by your ability to take everything they thought would destroy you and turn it into a weapon for your own advancement. They anticipated righteous fury and holy vengeance, expecting to face a storm of rage. Instead, they were met with something much more terrifying: quiet, relentless resistance. They thought they could crush you by attacking what made you human, your vulnerability, your compassion, your emotions. But they did not realize that it was precisely this humanity that was your greatest weapon. Where they saw fragility, you showed resilience. Where they saw chaos, you exhibited creativity. And where they expected submission, they found defiance so profound it shook the very foundations of their existence. You didn't just defeat them, you shattered their perception of power, of dominance, and of who could stand against them. Hell wasn't prepared for a force that didn't fit the narrative they had constructed. A force that didn't conform to the expectations of a battle defined by brute strength or rage. They underestimated the strength that comes from quiet resolve, and in the end, that was all it took to make them kneel before you. The fires burn out when fear ends. Hell has always thrived on fear, not on the flames, nor on the claws or cunning of its demons. It thrived on terror, the way it could make even the strongest hearts falter, the bravest souls second-guess their actions. Fear was the fuel that kept Hell's fire burning. It was a constant source of energy, sustained by doubt, guilt, and despair. Without it, the fire was nothing more than dying embers, waiting to fade away. But the chosen ones didn't engage with Hell the way others had. They didn't draw swords or make grand gestures. The battle they fought was far more insidious, the battle within their own minds. They refused to let fear control their actions, their choices, or their beliefs. In doing so, they didn't just defeat the demons, they starved them. The fire that once burned so brightly began to flicker and fade, not because it was extinguished by some grand act, but because there was nothing left to feed it. Hell depends on belief. When you believe in the monsters, they grow stronger. When you accept the pain, it becomes unbearable. But when the chosen ones stopped believing in the lies, everything changed. The illusions crumbled. The demons were revealed as the parasitic creatures they were, feeding off the very fears they created. When that fear was gone, they were left powerless, exposed, and afraid themselves. The flames that once threatened to consume everything grew cold, not because of some divine intervention, but because no one was left to sustain them. The chosen ones didn't destroy Hell, they stripped it of its very essence. Fear was gone, and so too was the fire. The truth: demons aren't invincible. For centuries, demons thrived on the myth of their invincibility. They built their reputation not on power, but on fear. They crafted an image of themselves as untouchable, absolute, unyielding. Even the strongest souls believed this myth, that resistance was futile, that their power could never be broken. But the truth is, none of it was real. It was a carefully constructed charade, a facade designed to make people surrender before the battle even began. The chosen ones saw through this illusion. You saw the cracks in their armor, the vulnerabilities they desperately tried to hide. You realized that their power wasn't innate. It was borrowed. Every scream, every moment of despair they caused was what fed their strength. And when you stopped feeding into their lies, their supposed invincibility crumbled. Hell depended on illusion. Shadows that looked like monsters, whispers that sounded like undeniable truths. These illusions only worked as long as you believed in them. But the moment you stopped buying into their narrative, their entire system collapsed. The demons were not gods. They were mere actors in a play they had written to keep humanity in fear. And when you stopped playing your part, their stage fell apart. The truth they had worked so hard to bury was now exposed. The demons weren't invincible. They could bleed. They could fall. And, most importantly, they could lose. The fear they relied on to maintain their hold became their own undoing. Once you saw through the illusion, you realized there was nothing left to fear. You didn't just fight demons, you pulled back the curtain on their entire operation. Hell's power wasn't real. It was a trick. And now that trick was gone. Their facade is in ruins, and they have nothing left to hide behind. A reverse possession. Possession was always their game. Demons thrived on taking over the minds, bodies, and lives of their victims. It was their trademark, their ultimate show of dominance. To infiltrate and twist, to break someone from the inside out. But this time, something changed. This time, the chosen ones flipped the script. Instead of being possessed, instead of being overtaken by their manipulation, you took control. You became the one who dominated, not by force or by fear, but by the sheer strength of your will. Where demons had once inserted themselves into the minds of their victims, this time, you entered their realm and took over. You turned the tables on them in ways they never anticipated. What was once their signature move became their greatest downfall, as you infiltrated their territory, seized their power, and made them yours. They never saw it coming because they never imagined anyone could reverse the very process they had perfected. You didn't just resist them, you reclaimed control of what was once theirs. Their power, their influence, and their hold over others was shattered because you took possession of the very force they thought was theirs to command. They believed they had mastered the art of domination, but it was you who mastered the art of defiance. And in doing so, you turned the tables completely, leaving them to face a fate they could never have foreseen. In the end, it wasn't just a battle of wills. It was a reversal of power, a reclamation of control that no demon could ever have anticipated. You didn't just break free of their grip, you broke their grip entirely. In doing so, you shattered everything they believed about power, revealing the true nature of strength. This wasn't about sheer force or even an unwavering faith. This was a battle of willpower. Each time they tried to inject their darkness into your mind, they were met with something far stronger: your refusal to bend. Every whisper of doubt they attempted to plant was drowned out by the immensity of your unshakable resolve. Their attempts to break you didn't just fail. They catalyzed their own downfall. What they didn't realize is that demons, creatures of control, are also creatures of chaos. They need you to be weak, to bend and break so they can dominate. But when faced with someone who refuses to break, their carefully constructed chaos turns inward. Your defiance didn't just stop them, it consumed them. With every failed attempt to overpower you, their strength ebbed away, their essence began to crack, and their power faltered. They crumbled under the weight of your unrelenting will. In the end, they didn't simply lose control, they lost themselves. What they thought was possession became their undoing, as they left behind only hollow remnants. Their once formidable presence, their iron grip on power, was crushed by the sheer force of your resistance. This wasn't possession in the way they intended. You didn't just resist their darkness, you made it kneel before your light. They came with the intent to possess you, but they were the ones who left defeated. Number 7. The throne of hell now lies empty. The symbol of absolute power, the throne that once belonged to the ruler of hell, stands vacant. The architect of suffering and chaos, the being who once reveled in torment and domination, is no longer there. But this wasn't due to some celestial battle or divine intervention. It was something far more humiliating. Mere mortals, the so-called chosen ones, had the audacity to defy destiny itself. And in doing so, they dethroned the one entity everyone thought untouchable. It wasn't a grand showdown with flames and fury. It was far worse. The ruler of hell didn't fall in battle. They abandoned their throne. They fled, leaving behind their kingdom and their followers because they could not face the certainty of their defeat. Imagine the humiliation. A power that had reigned supreme for millennia was brought to its knees, not by gods, but by those it deemed insignificant, powerless. It wasn't mere strength that forced the ruler to abandon their throne. It was the unraveling of everything they had built. The fear that had once been their greatest weapon evaporated. Their demons, once fierce and loyal, were now subdued, broken, scattered. The chosen ones, armed with nothing more than defiance, tore apart the foundation of their rule, not with divine weapons, but with an unyielding refusal to be controlled. The ruler of hell wasn't defeated in battle. They were undone, exposed, and humiliated by the sheer strength of the chosen one's will. They couldn't bear to watch their empire crumble. The throne they once sat on with arrogance and pride now serves as a stark reminder of their failure. They didn't die in a blaze of glory. They faded into irrelevance, leaving behind an empty seat and a kingdom in disarray. There is no greater insult to their legacy than this: not death, not destruction, but abandonment. The chosen ones didn't just win. They forced the ruler of hell to walk away, stripped of power, pride, and purpose. The throne is empty now, and the kingdom is but a shadow of its former self. Number 8. The war was never about brute strength. If it had been, the outcome might have been predictable. Hell, with its endless legions and raw power, could have easily dominated. But the chosen ones didn't rely on sheer strength, and that's what changed everything. This war wasn't a clash of physical might. It was about strategy, resilience, and the audacity to break the rules entirely. The demons expected a battle fought on their terms, with the rules they had set in place for eons. But the chosen ones didn't just reject their game, they rewrote the entire playbook. Hell thrives on predictable cycles. Fear leads to control, control leads to power, and power reinforces fear. It's a well-oiled machine. But when you refuse to fight according to their rules, the machine broke. The chosen ones didn't try to overpower Hell's armies directly. They dismantled the very foundation of its existence. They refused to be controlled, refused to react in the ways that demons had relied on for millennia. By doing so, they shattered the cycle Hell had come to depend on. Their tactics weren't about overwhelming force, they were about subversion. Instead of responding to hate with hate, they responded with defiance. Instead of cowering in fear, they stood tall. Every move they made was one the demons hadn't prepared for. They didn't need to be stronger than the demons. They only needed to show them that their strength meant nothing in a game they no longer controlled. That's why they lost. This war wasn't about who could hit harder. It was about who could change the rules entirely. The chosen ones didn't just rewrite the script. They took the pen, ensuring that demons would never hold it again. Number 9. Demons now fear redemption. For eons, demons mocked the very idea of redemption. To them, it was a concept of weakness and absurdity that had no place in their world. They saw it as laughable, a notion that could never apply to them. But the chosen ones, with their unyielding spirit, did what no one thought possible. They showed that redemption isn't just a possibility. It's a force far stronger than the demons ever realized. Redemption became the very thing they feared, the one thing they could never conquer. In their arrogance, they believed they were beyond it, that their darkness was too great to ever be washed away. But they didn't account for the power of defiance, the power of those who refused to submit to their cruelty. And in doing so, the chosen ones turned the very concept of redemption into their greatest weapon. The demons, who once believed they were beyond salvation, now tremble at the thought. The world of chaos and despair that the demons once ruled was shattered, not by an overwhelming force of wrath or vengeance, but by a far more potent and terrifying force: redemption. Hell didn't fall because of punishment or divine retribution. No, it fell because the chosen ones confronted the demons with something they had been running from for eternity, the truth of their own sins. Redemption, in its purest form, is not about destruction. It is about transformation. It doesn't annihilate. It changes everything. And that, more than anything else, is what the demons feared. For them, change meant the loss of everything. Their identity, their purpose, their very power. When the chosen ones did not engage in direct retribution, when they refused to destroy or punish the demons in the way the creatures expected, something extraordinary occurred. The chosen ones forced the demons to confront their own actions, not by decree or divine judgment, but by holding up a mirror to their souls. The demons were compelled to see the full extent of the lives they had ruined, the torment they had inflicted. In that moment, an unthinkable shift happened. The demons began to feel remorse, not in a moment of glorious forgiveness, but in the raw, excruciating agony of reckoning. Redemption wasn't a gift to them. It was a brutal awakening. It wasn't an act of mercy, but a painful confrontation with who they had become. The demons, instead of being destroyed by divine wrath, were undone by the very humanity they thought they had buried long ago. The weight of their own guilt and the reality of their sins pressed down on them with a force they had never imagined. Now, hell wasn't just afraid of being defeated, it was afraid of redemption. Redemption doesn't merely end the battle. It rewrites everything the demons had believed in, leaving them powerless against a force they never thought could exist. Hell did not lose in the way many might expect. There was no final battle, no dramatic fiery clash where the chosen one stood victorious over a defeated enemy. Instead, hell fell when the demons, for the first time, realized they had nothing left to fight for. They didn't kneel because they were beaten or overpowered. They knelt because they understood the futility of their rebellion. Resistance, once their core driving force, became utterly pointless. The chosen ones didn't just overpower them. They drained them of the will to continue. This wasn't a victory born of sheer strength or violent clashes. It was a quieter, subtler kind of victory, one that is far more powerful because it undermines the very essence of what the demons stood for. The chosen ones shattered not just the demons' forces, but the very notion of hell's invincibility. The demons, once driven by hatred, ambition, and fear, now saw the truth of their existence. They were no longer formidable. They were simply creatures of chaos, defeated by the knowledge that their actions had been in vain. What they had once believed to be invincible was nothing more than a fragile lie. This wasn't simply a defeat, it was a surrender. The demons could have kept fighting, could have continued their schemes, but the chosen ones had turned everything upside down. They forced the demons to confront a truth they had spent eternity avoiding. They were not gods. They were not invincible. They were nothing more than fragile beings of disorder, reliant on fear and submission to fuel their power. And now there was no one left to submit. The real weapon the chosen ones wielded wasn't brute force or destructive power. It was indifference. They refused to play by the demons' rules, and in doing so, they dismantled the very foundation of hell's strength. As the demons' desire to fight faded, so too did their power. Hell's fire didn't die in a violent explosion, but rather in a quiet fizzle, the flame of rebellion extinguished by the cold realization that there was nothing left to fight for. That is the true victory, not the destruction of the enemy, but the complete evaporation of their will to continue the war. In an unexpected twist, humanity became the very hell the demons had created. The tables were turned. The demons, once the rulers of fear and suffering, now found themselves prisoners in the very realm they had forged. Hell, which was once their domain, now became their personal cage, and humanity held the keys. It is a cosmic irony, a poetic turn of fate, that those who once thrived on terror and anguish now find themselves trapped in the very torment they once imposed on others. The chosen ones, far from mere survivors, had become the wardens of this new reality, holding the power to decide the fate of the demons. This wasn't just a victory. This was poetic justice. The demons, who had once delighted in breaking human spirits, now found themselves at the mercy of those same humans. Their power had come from the suffering they caused, from their ability to make others feel helpless. Now they were helpless themselves. The fear they once instilled in others was now their own to bear. The pain they had caused others returned to them in a way they never imagined. The ultimate irony is this: the demons, once all-powerful, now find themselves at the mercy of humanity, the very creatures they sought to break. They are no longer tortured by fire or chains. They are tortured by the knowledge that they are no longer needed, no longer feared, and no longer the gods of their own realm. Their power has evaporated, and with it so has their purpose. They are powerless. Trapped in a world they no longer control, the demons are caught in a prison of their own making. Their torment is not the searing flames of hell or an eternal, endless suffering. It is far more insidious. Their suffering comes from the painful realization that they have become nothing more than echoes of the destruction and pain they once inflicted upon others. They are haunted by their own actions, imprisoned by the very consequences they sought to avoid. The once feared demons are not kneeling out of necessity, but because they have nowhere else to go. They thought they could rule without repercussions, but now they are forced to face the truth of their own creation. The warden is humanity, and hell itself has become the prison that they built, now trapping them inside, unable to escape the reality they designed. Number 12, the chosen ones are not heroes. They are catalysts. In the traditional sense, they do not fit the mold of champions or saviors. They did not come to rescue the day, nor did they seek glory or recognition for their actions. Their role was far deeper and more profound. They were not heroes in the conventional way. They were the catalysts of change, the forces of reckoning that the universe had long awaited. They did not fight for victory in the way many imagine heroes do. They fought to restore balance to a world that had been tipped into chaos. They were the inevitable force that would come when the time was right, a force that could not be ignored or denied. Demons, long believing themselves to be beyond reproach, thought their power was unchallenged, their rule eternal. They mocked the very notion of balance, justice, and consequence, living by their own rules without ever considering that their unchecked existence would one day be confronted. The chosen ones were not martyrs nor saviors. They were simply the universe's natural counterbalance. They embodied not heroism, but consequence. They did not aim to defeat evil for some noble cause, nor did they seek to gain recognition for their actions. Their purpose was to enforce the reckoning, to remind the world that even the darkest forces cannot escape the laws of the universe. Their fight was not about victory for victory's sake. It was about restoring order. They did not simply battle demons. They were the universe's way of correcting itself when things had gone too far. And in doing so, they did not need to be celebrated or remembered as heroes. They only needed to do what was necessary: to make hell face the inevitable, to force the balance, and to serve as the unyielding force that even the most powerful demons could not avoid. Number 13, the final act of defiance. You made hell irrelevant. Hell had always existed based on a single, simple truth. It thrived because people believed in it. Its power lay in fear, suffering, and control, manipulating souls into submission by convincing them that it was an inescapable fate, something worse than their current misery. But the final act of defiance did not come through destruction or annihilation. It came through erasure. You made hell irrelevant by stripping the demons of their power to control through fear. When the chosen ones refused to be dominated, when they forced hell to face its own inability to maintain control, they shattered the illusion that hell had ever been inevitable. Once people stopped believing in it, hell lost all power. Without belief, hell was a hollow shell. The flames were meaningless, the torment empty, because there were no longer any souls to fear it. The demons who once thrived in terror and suffering suddenly found themselves irrelevant. They were no longer feared. They were ignored. The invincible creatures who once ruled with fear and intimidation were revealed for what they truly were: absurd and powerless. Hell itself became a relic, a place long forgotten. It was no longer feared because its very existence ceased to matter. In this, you achieved the greatest victory. Hell didn't burn out in a final, destructive blaze. It simply faded away, vanishing because its purpose was gone. There is no hell without belief. The moment the chosen ones forced the demons to kneel, they erased the very foundation of hell, stripping away the power that had once made it a force to be reckoned with. Hell, once a fearsome entity, was now nothing more than an echo of its former self. In the end, the Chosen Ones didn't just defeat Hell, they unmade it. They tore down the walls that had held Hell together for eons, revealing that Hell's true power was never in its flames or its demons. The true strength of Hell lay in the belief that it was inevitable, unstoppable. And when the Chosen Ones defied that belief, they showed the world that true power does not lie in domination or destruction. It lies in the courage to defy what is meant to be unchangeable, and in the wisdom to recognize that even the darkest forces can be undone. The Chosen Ones didn't play by Hell's rules, they rewrote them entirely. Through their defiance, they not only changed the world, they changed the very nature of reality itself, proving that even the most terrifying powers can be overcome by the simple act of no longer believing in them. In the face of unyielding adversity, the light of unwavering will burns brighter than any darkness that seeks to consume it. Hell's fire, cold and eternal, was never the true source of its power. Its real death came at the moment when the demons, once feared and revered, knelt, not out of submission or coercion, but because they saw, in the clearest of terms, the utter futility of their existence. They were not invincible. They were merely a construct, the result of a belief system that had outlived its purpose, its relevance, and its time. The Chosen Ones didn't simply break them, they erased the very foundation upon which their dominion stood. In doing so, they did not just end a war, they shattered an entire cycle of fear that had plagued humanity for millennia. What the Chosen Ones achieved wasn't a victory in the traditional sense. It was something far more profound. It was liberation. They freed humanity from the chains of terror that once held it captive, showing the world that no force, no matter how seemingly insurmountable, is more powerful than the truth. Hell did not fall because of wrath or divine retribution. It fell because its belief system crumbled under the weight of defiance, and the Chosen Ones were the force that tore it down with unshakable resolve. Hell's throne now lies empty. Its fires, once fierce and all-consuming, have been extinguished, leaving only ashes. The demons, those fearsome entities, are left to confront the truth they had spent eternity avoiding. The world is now waking up to a revelation. Hell was never invincible. The Chosen Ones proved, beyond any doubt, that nothing, no force, not even the very foundations of Hell itself, is beyond reckoning when the will to challenge it is unyielding and resolute. The true triumph of the Chosen Ones lies not in their conquest of a mythical realm, but in the understanding that the greatest prison of all is not built from chains or fire, but from the absence of belief. And now, Hell finds itself devoid of belief, and with it, its power has crumbled. The demons who once ruled from a throne of terror are now left powerless, as the one thing that held them together, their belief in their own invincibility, has been shattered. No longer can they thrive on fear, for the very foundation of their dominion has been erased by those who dared to challenge the impossible. If this journey through defiance, redemption, and the unmaking of Hell has sparked something within you, do not hesitate. Join the movement that dares to rewrite the rules, that believes in the unshakable power of standing against the impossible. Hit the subscribe button and share this message with those who need to hear it. Nothing, absolutely nothing, is beyond the reach of those who dare to defy. The fight for truth, for defiance, is eternal, and now you are a part of it. Stay tuned, for the next chapter in this saga is just beginning. Together, we will continue to break the chains and redefine what it means to stand against the tide. Listen closely, my chosen family, for this moment is no mere accident. If you're here, it is because you were meant to hear these words. The universe doesn't make mistakes, and fate doesn't guide those who aren't ready. You are here because this message is yours, because the universe has a plan, and it is speaking directly to your soul. You've lived your life as the foundation, the pillar of strength for those around you. When others wavered, you stood tall. When storms raged, you were the shelter, the refuge, the one who remained unshaken. People have relied on you not just for guidance, but for survival. You have carried burdens that felt heavier than the world itself, lifting others up even when the weight seemed unbearable. You took on the role of protector, leader, and steadfast ally, without ever asking for it, but embracing it with unshakable resolve. You've endured more trials than most can fathom. Yet you've kept going, always strong, always unyielding. But now a shift is coming. Even the hardest steel can bend, and the tallest mountain can erode under constant pressure. For so long you have been the unwavering force, the anchor in the storm. But now it is time to acknowledge an essential truth you've avoided. True strength isn't defined by never breaking. It's knowing when it's okay to allow someone else to stand beside you. The universe, in its infinite wisdom, is sending someone into your life, a person stronger than you in ways you may never have considered, but in ways that will force you to reevaluate what true power really means. If this resonates with you, if it speaks to something deep within your spirit, write 77 in the comments below and declare your readiness. This is your moment, not just to prove your strength to yourself, but to the world. The person who is about to enter your life isn't here to overpower you, to take away from you. They are here to uplift you, to help you grow in ways you never thought possible. They will see parts of you that you've never shared, the vulnerability hidden behind your armor, the exhaustion that lies beneath your strength. Imagine two unstoppable forces coming together, not in conflict, but in harmony. Like wildfire meeting the ocean, one burns with relentless intensity, while the other cools, reshapes, and transforms. Together, they create something entirely new, something greater than the sum of its parts. This person isn't here to defeat you. They are here to help you evolve. For too long, you have walked this path alone, the lone wolf braving winters that would crush others. But even wolves seek their pack when the cold becomes unbearable. This person isn't just someone who will stand beside you. They will carry you when you can't take another step. They will look at your scars, not with pity, but with admiration. For they will see the battles you've fought and the victories you've won. They will see you for who you truly are, not just what you do for others, not just your achievements or accomplishments. True strength isn't about enduring endless pain or carrying the world's burdens without faltering. It's about connection. It's about allowing yourself to be seen, to be vulnerable without shame or fear. This person will challenge you to tear down the walls you've built to protect yourself. They will remind you that even the strongest among us need a place of refuge, a safe space to rest. Their presence will fill the gaps where your resilience has started to wear thin. This isn't about saving you because you don't need saving. You've already proven time and again that you can survive anything. This is about balance. It's about recognizing that your strength can be even greater when it is shared. At first, you might resist this. You've spent your life relying on yourself, standing strong and alone. The idea of letting someone else in, of sharing your burdens may feel like surrender. But what if it's not? What if allowing someone else to share the load makes you even stronger? What if the key to your next phase of growth lies in letting others walk beside you, in trusting that the universe knows exactly what it's doing? The universe doesn't make mistakes, and it is sending you exactly what you need, even if it isn't what you expected. If you've felt a shift lately, a subtle pull toward something or someone, don't ignore it. It's not your imagination. This is the universe whispering to you, preparing you for what's about to unfold. You may have noticed small signs, quiet nudges urging you to step outside your comfort zone. Maybe you've felt drawn to places you wouldn't normally go, or you've noticed a pattern of coincidences that feels too meaningful to ignore. These are not random events. These are breadcrumbs, tiny, divine messages leading you toward the person who will change everything. Your intuition has always known, even before your mind did. The quiet voice urging you to pay attention is guiding you toward something monumental. This connection is no accident. It is destiny at work, weaving its intricate web to bring you to this very moment. The signs are all around you if you're willing to see them. Repeating numbers, unexpected encounters, or a sudden sense that something big is about to happen. These are signals, not coincidences. These are messages from the universe, directing you towards something greater. But here's the catch. The universe can guide you, but it cannot force you to act. The signs will only have power if you are willing to follow them. Now is the time to open yourself to something greater, to trust that the universe knows what it is doing. If you feel that inexplicable pull, follow it. If you feel a connection to someone, trust it. These moments are not random. They are part of the plan, the path leading you to the person who will transform your life. This isn't just about meeting someone stronger. It's about understanding that true power lies not in independence, but in connection. It lies in allowing yourself to be vulnerable and recognizing that you don't have to carry everything alone. The person who is coming into your life will remind you of this. They will help you realize that your scars are not weaknesses. They are symbols of the battles you've fought and won. They will show you that being strong doesn't mean never needing help. It means knowing when to let someone else in. The universe is clearing space in your life, preparing you for this connection. It's asking you to let go of old roles, outdated patterns, and habits that no longer serve you. It's urging you to step into a new chapter, one where you don't always have to be the unshakable force. This person will teach you that strength can take many forms. Sometimes it's in the quiet moments of surrender, in the courage it takes to let someone else carry the weight for a while. This is your moment, chosen one. The universe is calling you to rise, not alone, but with someone who will lift you higher than you ever thought possible. Trust the process, trust the signs, and most importantly, trust yourself. If you're ready to embrace this change, to let the universe guide you to the person who will challenge and uplift you, take the first step. Open your heart to the possibilities. The journey ahead is not just about meeting someone stronger. It's about becoming the strongest version of yourself. The universe is whispering to you now. Are you listening? The person you're about to meet isn't just another passing figure in your story. They are a force so undeniable that their presence will reshape everything you thought you knew about yourself. When they enter your life, it won't just be another encounter. It will be destiny stepping into the light, demanding your attention. Standing strong when everyone else walked away is a testament to your resilience. Yet, there comes a time when someone steps into your life who will not walk away. Someone who will not only stand beside you but will earn your trust through consistent actions. They will not be there to take from you, but rather to give, to support, to stand with you in ways you never imagined possible. Through their unwavering commitment, they will gently but firmly help you rediscover your faith in yourself, teaching you to trust your worth, not just as someone strong, but as someone deserving of love, of care, and of the kind of companionship that uplifts you. This person will encourage you to open up in ways that once felt impossible, allowing you to share your deepest fears and your most vivid dreams without the fear of judgment. With them, you will feel a sense of freedom that you haven't experienced in years. The freedom to simply be yourself, without the need for pretense or defense. Together, you will forge a connection that is deeper and more meaningful than anything you've known before. It won't just be about having someone to lean on. It will be about a mutual transformation. Their strength will amplify yours, and yours will fuel theirs, creating a force so powerful that it will ripple outward, touching the lives of those around you in ways you cannot yet envision. This person is not entering your life to dominate or to follow. They are here to walk beside you, step by step. They will challenge you when you need growth, offer support when you need rest, and inspire you to dream bigger than ever before. They will see in you what you sometimes struggle to see in yourself, your boundless potential, not just as an individual but as part of something greater. They will teach you that strength is not only about enduring hardship, but also about embracing growth. They will help you understand that real power lies in balance, the ability to stand firm when necessary and to let go when the time is right. Through their example, you will come to see that vulnerability is not weakness. Rather, it is the key to unlocking your full potential. This isn't just about finding someone strong. It's about finding someone who will push you to be stronger, who will challenge you in ways that deepen your understanding of what true strength really is. It's about discovering a bond that doesn't just complement your life, but transforms it. Together, you will create something so powerful that it will ripple through the world, changing the lives of others, inspiring them to believe in something bigger than themselves. When they arrive, you will know instantly. It won't be a question of doubt, but a certainty. You will recognize them as the person you've been waiting for, the one who will change everything. They will remind you that even the strongest among us need someone to walk beside them, someone who can see the cracks in our armor and still believe in the strength that lies within. This isn't the end of your journey. It is the beginning of a new chapter, a chapter where your strength is no longer something you carry alone, but something you share and build upon together. In this new chapter, you will discover what it truly means to be powerful, not just as an individual, but as part of a unified whole. The impact you will have together will be far greater than the sum of your individual parts. Whether in the work you create, the passions you share, or the way your connection inspires others, your partnership will ripple out, leaving a lasting legacy. There will be times when uncertainty looms, when risks seem too great, and when doubt creeps in like shadows before dawn. But it is in these moments that trust will prove its true strength. The trust in each other's abilities, in your collective bond, and in the unshakable foundation you've built together. Letting go of control does not mean surrendering. It means having faith in the process, in each other, and in the magic that can unfold when you allow space for something extraordinary. Together, you will open doors to possibilities that you could never have imagined on your own. Every trial, every setback, every triumph will have led you here, to this moment when destiny and action align, igniting a purpose that burns brighter than ever. Your shared vision won't just aim for the stars. You will create a legacy that reshapes the world around you. This bond you're stepping into is not about avoiding challenges. It's about facing them head-on, with the strength that only comes when two powerful forces unite. Meeting someone stronger than you doesn't mean the road ahead will be easy. It means you will grow in ways that reshape you both. The dynamic between you may sometimes feel overwhelming, as their strength challenges yours in unexpected ways. But this tension will be the fertile ground for growth. It will break down old patterns and make space for something new, something better. Through their support, you will learn to confront the parts of yourself that you have hidden away, the fear of vulnerability, the desire to control, the unresolved wounds beneath your surface. But these are not flaws. They are invitations to evolve. You will confront them with courage, not shame. You will begin to understand that strength is not about being unshaken by every storm, but about being adaptable, being willing to grow, and recognizing that true power comes from transformation. This connection will show you that you do not have to carry the weight of the world alone. You don't need to solve every problem by yourself or bear every burden. Allowing someone in isn't weakness. It is trust. And in return, your resilience will inspire them in ways they never anticipated. Together, you will create a cycle of growth and empowerment that feeds on the struggles you overcome together. Life will continue to test both of you, and there will be moments when everything you thought you knew about yourselves and each other will be challenged. But in those moments, you will not stand apart. You will face everything together, with a strength that only grows with every challenge you tackle as a team. This partnership isn't about avoiding storms. It's about learning how to weather them together. It's about knowing when to fight and when to release, when to act and when to step back. Through it all, you will realize that the true measure of strength lies not just in enduring, but in knowing when to lean on one another. You will discover that rest is just as important as resilience, and accepting support isn't surrender. It is wisdom. Every disagreement, every trial, and every victory will only strengthen your bond. These moments will not tear you apart, but will forge a connection that deepens with time. For so long, you've lived as though your strength depended on how much you could bear alone. You've built walls to protect yourself, convinced that vulnerability was a weakness. But this person will help you see that true strength comes from standing together, from sharing the load, from trusting in each other's power. Through them, you will discover that vulnerability is not something to fear but something to embrace. Because when you stand together, you are unstoppable. From trusting someone enough to let them into your life, you'll discover something extraordinary. They won't just admire the armor you've carefully crafted over time. They'll honor the person beneath it. They'll challenge the assumption that strength must be solitary, teaching you that opening up to someone else is not only courageous but transformative. In their presence, you'll experience a kind of support that doesn't diminish your independence. It enhances your power. It won't feel like dependence. It will feel like true partnership. In times of adversity, they won't turn away or let you face the storm alone. They'll stand with you, offering not just comfort but shared strength. They'll amplify your resilience, and together, you'll forge a fire that burns even brighter than it would have on your own. You won't need to prove yourself to them. You won't have to wear a mask of invincibility or pretend that everything is fine. In fact, They'll love the parts of you that you've kept hidden, the vulnerabilities and the insecurities that you've guarded for so long. In their eyes, you will find something rare, acceptance without expectation. You'll realize that allowing someone to see you fully, flaws, fears, and all, isn't a weakness but a revolution of your spirit. Through this connection, you'll come to understand that needing support doesn't make you fragile. It makes you unstoppable. Trust won't feel like surrender. It will feel like freedom. You'll find a rare form of strength that only comes from being truly seen and loved for who you are. Together, you'll build a life grounded in shared purpose, aligned vision, and mutual belief. Every step forward will be taken together, with the conviction that you can accomplish far more as a united team than as two individuals struggling alone. The universe will respond to this partnership in ways you never could have imagined. Opportunities that once seemed out of reach will appear, and doors that you thought were permanently closed will open before you. The energy you create together will ripple outward, touching lives, shaping futures, and leaving a legacy that extends far beyond your own. When challenges come, and they will, you won't face them as two separate entities. You'll face them as one unshakable force, stronger because of the partnership you've cultivated. The burdens of life will no longer feel as heavy because they'll be shared. And through this shared strength, you'll discover that true power multiplies when it is carried together. This is the moment where everything changes. All the time you've spent believing that strength is about standing alone will give way to the realization that true strength is found in standing together. This partnership will form the bedrock of a new chapter in your life, one filled with growth, transformation, and purpose. Your story isn't just continuing, it is beginning anew. The person you are about to meet is not just a companion. They are a force of nature, sent into your life to help you rise to heights you never thought possible. Together, you'll create something that not only endures but thrives. You were never meant to walk this path alone. Now, with someone by your side, you'll become truly unstoppable. So, my chosen family, the journey you are on is not just about personal growth. It's about connection, transformation, and stepping into a new chapter of your life. Every trial, every triumph, and every setback has led you to this moment. Meeting someone who is stronger than you isn't a threat. It's a gift. It's about finding a partner who challenges your limits, pushes you to be better, and walks with you through every storm. This person will not only be your equal in strength. They will be your reflection, your balance, and your greatest ally. They will see past the walls you've built and honor the person behind them, not to tear you down but to build something even stronger. Through their presence, you'll learn that strength is not about carrying life's burdens alone, but about trusting someone enough to share them. They will teach you that vulnerability is not a weakness. It is the doorway to deeper connection and true freedom. Together, you will forge a bond that transcends the ordinary. It won't be without challenges, but it will be unbreakable. Friction will transform into growth, and struggles will become stepping stones to something extraordinary. You will face life not as two individuals but as a unified force, pushing past boundaries and creating a legacy that is greater than the sum of its parts. Every disagreement will deepen your understanding of one another, and every hardship will strengthen your commitment to each other. Through this connection, you'll find a rhythm where both of your strengths shine and your weaknesses are met with compassion. Their strength will inspire you to release control and lean into trust, while your resilience will spark in them a courage they never knew they had. This mutual empowerment will be the foundation for everything you will build together. The universe has been preparing you for this moment, and now it's time to embrace what has been waiting for you. The person entering your life is not here by coincidence. They are here by destiny. They are your equal, your ally, and your mirror. With them, you will become a force that transforms not only your life but the world around you. The best part of your journey isn't ahead of you. It's already beginning. Trust in this connection. Embrace the transformation. Together, you'll create something unshakable. Your story is not over. It's just beginning. So, my beloved chosen family, your love inspires us to keep creating meaningful content just for you. If our efforts have touched your heart, you can show your support by clicking the super thanks button on your screen. Every bit of your kindness means the world to us and helps us continue our mission. Thank you for being the amazing support system you are. We are forever grateful for your love and encouragement. I hope you've learned something valuable from this eye-opening video. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the next one. Until then, take care and goodbye.